Lemonheads, this rules. What do you see the future of combat as? Just people flying drones from
It,
Vegas? Remote?
yes.
Uh,
Well, I think it's going to be okay. Here's the thing: the entire time that we've been out of Afghanistan and Iraq, 2022, 2020. Wait, 2021 is when they had that disastrous pullout from Afghanistan, and then Ukraine kicks off in 2022. So while we've been out of the game, except for special operations, like the Ukrainians and the Russians have reinvented warfare, and that's where warfare is going. Like,
what have you seen out of the
like
footage there? I try not to watch it. It's
oh my gosh, dude, they're killing each other with small drones you can get off Amazon. Just finding a way to put a payload on those like really well. I was going to say primitive, but the drones you get off Amazon have gotten pretty sophisticated. And it doesn't. If you have munitions like the military has munitions, like if you have plastic explosive C4 whatever, or you have what other kind of munitions. It doesn't take much to fly one of those drones up somebody's ass
I
or
mean,
into
have we seen this in the
into a
U.S. yet,
squad.
where a kid flies a
Mm-mm.
drone with a bomb on it into his school and blows it up or
No,
anything?
thankfully, no.
I
Thankfully,
wonder
no.
why we haven't seen that yet, considering kids are so good with drones. They could fly maybe 5 or 6 of them. I actually saw. Where did I read this? I forget where I read this, but there is some sort of AI surveillance system that people are proposing to install in schools. I think I read this in a paper where basically, if a threat was detected, these drones would be dispatched, and the doors of the high school would fly open, and the drone would fly in and neutralize the threat immediately. If it detected a gun or an explosion or whatever,
That's
and
going to
and
happen.
you could install this in
There's no
every
way that
single
doesn't
school.
happen. There's no way that doesn't happen. That is exactly the kind of thing that administrators would get behind. I know I've been a professor for 23 years now
And at
at the
your
same
university, there
university.
was a shooting at your university that you were at.
Yeah, well, it sure was. And like one of our students like took the guy down and lost his life doing it. But
Oh,
he
God bless
like
him.
he I absolutely guy's a freaking stud hero. Thank God for him. But yeah, no, that's the kind of thing an administrator would be like, oh, that's fantastic. We don't have to know about it. We don't have to do anything. We can like farm this out to, we can subcontract this out to some firm and, they put the drones in and faculty will, they'll raise a ruckus, but who gives a shit what they have to say? And yeah, that's exactly what will happen. I can guarantee you that is what will happen.
That's the best idea I've heard, even though it's.
Probably.
I
It's
mean,
probably not bad
it's not fun
given
to
the
talk
response
about it.
time at Uvalde.
Yeah, and it sounds very
Yeah,
dystopian and everything. And I don't know. Also, part of me as an American, you go, well, what about freedom? Why are these
yeah,
systems detecting And I'm like, well, what do you want Sandy Hook to happen again?
yeah,
Let the
yeah.
drones be the cops, whatever.
Let the drones be the cops. Yeah, they'll all be chasing me down the hallway. I'll be like, I'm not doing anything. I'm gonna be like, fuck you, fuck you, Jeff Dye. You're going down. they're like they're like thinking everybody's Jeff Dye detected.
Well, if you see the future of combat as like, do you see it as like robots attacking each other, or I mean, you've read every book on war there is. What does war look like in 30 years?
I don't know. B, I would imagine that it is an interface between human war fighters, but human war fighters who have been integrated with technology that's at the cutting edge and is reliant on robotics and drones, and those things have gotten cheap. That's the real turning point. the Ukrainians and Russians have been blowing each other up, and they've gotten the cost of these systems down. It's like dirt. It's nothing. And so you only get to fight with what the military, the weapons companies allow you to fight with, and they're gonna, the army will say, okay, whoever builds me the cheapest weapon system gets the contract, and then they'll build a reliant, affordable weapon system. The U.S. Army will adopt it, and we'll be our war fighters will be fighting with those.
Well, even the paid killers will become even more divorced from death. So there will be no sector,
of course,
of society other than maybe a mortician or maybe an ER surgeon, someone like that. Those will be the only people who know what death is, and be.
That's how we know that.
Yeah.
That's how we know that's actually what's going to happen, because it will follow the contours of our reality even farther. Like, we've grooved what Dave Grossman talks about with regards to our being divorced from death. Like, that new technology will follow those grooves, and we'll become even more divorced from it. And then there'll be all these school shootings, but then the school shooters will be neutralized by drones. And then the school shooters will get affordable drones to use those. And it'll be drones versus drones. Like, I mean, it's very dystopian, but that seems to be where we're headed.
Yeah, I mean, you're describing like satanic accelerationism or something. I mean, that's
for real.
I'm imagining some weird kind of like a David Cronenberg underground rich person sex cult where people are growing ears on their elbows and doing like weird body experiments, like Blade Runner, Spirit Halloween type stuff. I guess we're going to have to retreat more and more into the woods, both spiritually and also in terms of our own displacement. I think I'm fine with that. Are you okay with that? I'm okay with living in a fallen world, if you are.
I grew up in the woods. I got no problem with the woods. As long as it's got good Wi-Fi.
Yes. Yeah. As long as you got Wi-Fi still, you're good. As long as you can still get Postmates.
And by the way, like, we were sold the Afghanistan war. Like, I was all about it. I wanted to, let's go fuck up these people who 9/11'd us. And then we didn't get Bin Laden, right? He gets away at Tora Bora in 2002. And then we're like, no, we're staying to fight the pedophile drug lords. At that point, someone should have said, Epstein, like, we don't need to fight pedophile warlords in Afghanistan. We can fight them in Palm Beach.
Well, that's yeah. I mean, really, to me, the last thing they want is us going to war with them. So they need us to go to war with each other.
No shit.
I think that's ICE. I think they want to let immigrants in and then get people to they create a problem that they can then solve. Oh wow, thank you. Thank you so much. The problem you created, you are now solving. Appreciate it.
Have you seen the commercials for ICE? I've been seeing like ads on like network TV.
No, I can pull one up on YouTube right now.
I was like, what? You're advertising ICE? Like, this is a governmental thing.
Oh yeah, they are, huh? Yeah, I'm seeing this on the news. They actually are. Damn.
I mean, it's kind of weird. I mean, you don't see. I guess you have ads for the U.S. Army for recruitment. I guess we've always seen that.
Yeah.
The few, the proud, the Marines.
I mean, the commercials here are, that guy Murphy in White Noise. The way he studies, he says you can find out everything about. By the way, my friend just started Mao too. He loves it. I told him, I'm like, you got to read Libra and Mao 2. Those are the two required reading. White Noise is still good, but that guy Murphy, I think his name is Murphy, and he studies advertisements. Murray, yeah. He studies commercials and because it tells you everything about civilization. and he found it endlessly fascinating.
Yes.
If you turn on the TV now, I don't know if you've watched the TV lately, probably from the Super Bowl, but
A little bit.
When I know people that come over here from, I have a family in Germany, and when they come over here, they think it's insane that they see commercials on TV for medication, where they say,
it's illegal over there.
Won't the doctor just put you on that medication if you need it? Why are there ads for medicine? It doesn't make any damn sense.
Oh, but you have to ask for Chantix by name. Chantix. Ask for it by name. Side effects may include a blue arc of electricity connecting your nipples at night and uncontrollable falling down. Inadvertent pedophilia.
God only knows
And
what
then they give you a drug to treat. They give you a drug to treat the inadvertent pedophilia they've caused.
I would want to, yeah. So people, trust me, in this country, people would take something that exacerbates the issue.
No, I'm actually on this. I'm on this new Pfizer pedophile enhancement.
I can't get hard
drug.
anymore.
It's good.
I'm a pedophile. I can't get hard anymore. Sucks. I've just been like depressed and not willing to. But it's that. It's like join the army. Get on medication or drink beer.
Yeah.
Like none of these things are good. Like none of these things will improve your life in any way whatsoever.
It's probably not going to help. Probably not going to help with your relationships and getting closer to God and
And the football's only big here. Nobody gives a fuck about it anywhere else, and it's because it's the military, hypnosis.
Yeah.
It's the Goy machine. I told you I went to the LA Ram Chargers game or whatever. I don't know what the team is, but our advertising lady got us a ticket to. I think we watched the Eagles. I don't remember it all. But when I was at the game,
was it fun?
Yeah, a big screen at the SoFi Stadium in LA, it kept flashing Anduril between it was so bright it was hurting my eyes. But no one was paying attention to the screen. But the screen's as big as the actual field. It blew my mind how big this thing was.
Holy crap,
Because it's hung by cables. If these snapped, it would kill literally every single person on the field. It was so big and so bright, and between each play, it would split. It would go Anduril. I was like, what does this have to do with it? And then I remembered it's Palmer Luckey's company. He makes killer drones. He's trying to make autonomous drones that kill people.
Gosh.
He's a Hawaiian shirt wearing ponytail guy from Huntington Beach.
I've seen this. I've seen this asshole.
He goes on Rogan and he talks about like the prime breeding age for women and stuff. It's all very.
Oh my gosh, dude!
It's also
horrified. You know how horrified Tolkien would be at these tech assholes using.
Because that's the sword for
using
Aragorn.
his stuff.
Isn't Anduril?
Yeah. Anduril is Aragorn's sword. Palantir is, the Scene Stones.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these people have stolen. Tolkien hated technology. He hated industrialization. He saw what it did in the trenches of the First World War. He would be so pissed.
He would be so mad if he saw this guy in flip-flops and a Hawaiian shirt talking about. And
my gosh.
I'm like, why is the guy who's making autonomous death machines, which is basically the way I view it, it's a gun that can shoot itself. Like, it's a gun that doesn't need a man to fire it and load it. It's a gun that can just operate within its own. It's unbelievable to me that a guy like that is even going on people's podcasts. It's clearly like PR to get us more comfortable with these.
Of course,
with these death machines, and I'm like, to me, the mark of the rot. I mean, you want to talk about the rot of the times, the rampant rot. You want to talk about the rampant rot? Why is every CEO a celebrity? Why is this the only thing we give a fuck about is corporations? And we talk about families like their companies. We talk about everything in this. The only way we can understand anything is in the hierarchy of like a company. Why do we give a damn, I
only
shouldn't know who the
CEOs,
CEO of
of
Raytheon
course
is.
not.
I shouldn't know who they
No, of
are. I
course
shouldn't
not.
listen to them
Of
speak.
course not. The only CEOs I knew about when I was young, like when I was a kid, was like I knew about Lee Iacocca because he had a couple of good years and then he went bankrupt. And I knew about Trump, and that was it. Like they were the only two like CEOs that were
And
visible,
maybe
and the
Warren
rest were
Buffett. It was
invisible.
Warren Buffett, maybe the most.
Warren Buffett,
Yeah.
yeah. But other than that, you didn't know like every flip flop wearing Hawaiian shirt asshole who came down the like the fact that like he's
It's
like,
the
oh,
last
I'm
great
just a
religion, man. Is money.
dude.
The last great religion
These
is money,
people,
and people want their head shot off by it. There's that great line. You know that
like
line from
Johnson
Dennis?
said,
Yeah, that Dennis
yeah,
Johnson
people
said
have their
Beverly
head shot
Hills.
off of money.
He said Beverly Hills is filled with people who have had their heads shot off by money. That's how I view people now. Like the idea that they're going to be this Jack Dorsey. I mean, people move to San Francisco in droves to have their startups, and it's all like weird, like almost Waco shit, like incestuous Heaven's Gates. We're all gonna build the Hitler computer and go to Hitler heaven or whatever it is that they want to do.
Hitler computer.
My friend Jake calls it the Hitler computer, where they admit on shows that they're all racing to build this great machine that they believe is going to be built, which brings about the simulation or whatever, and it's going to be evil and it's going to enslave the human race basically, but they think if they create it that it will spare them, which is the exact if you know, they name their shit after Lord of the Rings. Gandalf tells Saruman that the ring only obeys one master, and the ring does not share power. And it's when Saruman and Gandalf get in a big fight in that badass tower that he's in. But I mean, if you've read a book, if you've seen a movie, you know how these stories play out, and you can let them guide you through life so you can make good. This is what the Jews do with the Old Testament. When they have a problem, they go, well, isn't this like Job? Is this not like David? Is this not like Daniel? Is this not like Jonah? And I should behave, and if you behave this way, this is going to be your end, and blah, blah, blah. We've seen this a million times. These people are so divorced from, any kind of art, literature. Didn't you tell me? I mean, they don't know us. They couldn't tell you a single story. You told me, who's this asshole that hates Shakespeare? That wasn't he running some scam, Bankman-Fried or something?
Sam Bankman-Fried. He was the what? He's the crypto guy. He's
I
like
have
a
no idea.
Crypto king or something.
Some of them I refuse to dignify, but they hate Shakespeare. They love money and they hate Shakespeare.
He went on this big thing about like, what are the odds? The greatest writer was like, in the 1600s. The Banksian priors aren't good. He went on this big thing. I'm like, dude, you are such a friggin' dork. What a fucking dork, man.
But to me,
too dorky to get Shakespeare.
Yeah, but to me, 80 years ago, that guy was supposed to be obsessed with Shakespeare. And I don't know what happened.
Of course.
That guy was supposed to be at a soda fountain. He was supposed to be at a soda fountain with a girl that was a 4, right. And he with braces, and he was gonna, and he was like ad nauseum talking about like Antony and Cleopatra, and like comparing like Twelfth Night and Macbeth or something, That's what he was supposed to be doing, like in a very nerdy kind of way to like get the girl.
You're right. And now he's all like, he's got an e-girl who fled to China at the first opportunity, and she's not even hot. And like, he's just embarrassing. He's sharing a cell with P. Diddy now. I mean, the whole thing.
Is he in prison?
It's just insane. Yeah. He's like, I forget what law he broke, but there were several, and he was, of course, caught red. These nerds aren't supposed to do crime, man.
Yeah, no one is above the law.
They just get caught.
That's the people that are above the law told me that no one's above the law. That's what they tweet out all the time.
I love it. No one is above the law, they say. And then, yeah. And then, like, the Epstein files that are released are just one blacked out page.
I saw that they forgot to redact some stuff. I saw this from Kalani Goshpin. I haven't got to dig into it. But I think they were accidentally releasing photos of, like, CSAM and stuff and, like, human sacrifice.
Oh, my gosh, dude. What is going on?
I don't know. I mean, I thought you would have been dismissive of a lot of this stuff just because it's FBI tips. A lot of it is. You know, in terms of the girls being buried on the golf course and stuff like that, I would go, well, the average person, I think, especially the average right winger, I think would say, well, it's an FBI tip. You know, which is interesting because then they say, well, one of the FBI tips is Trump telling them that Ghislaine Maxwell is a very evil person in, like, 2000 something. And they go, well, there. I'm like, well, you can't throw out the other FBI tips and then say this one is credible, but whatever.
Well, you can't throw out the FBI tips and then have a podcaster be the head of the FBI. You got to pick You got to pick a lane there.
Yeah, you got to be somewhat consistent.
I mean, you got to be somewhat consistent, I guess. I don't know, man.
All I know, man, is a year and a half ago, I've never received more criticism. I've never lost more money than saying Trump is absolutely a pedophile. I said that like a year and a half ago. And our Patreon, like, tanked.
I remember when you were going through that. Did it really?
Yeah, we lost like 15% of the Patreon at the time. It's way up now, but people were writing me big things like, I'll never listen to you again. I can't believe you.
Wow.
And I was like, well, the evidence is just very, like, if you look into it, and they were saying, I can't believe Ben believes these lib hoaxes. He's such a fucking moron. And I'm never wrong. I'm only early. And now it turns out I was right. Everybody is a satanic pedophile, actually, including the president of the United States. In fact, almost all the presidents have. I think you'd have to go back to Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah.
I think literally a guy, the only people you can trust are people who read all day long. I truly believe that. Because those people are willing to be alone with themselves all day, that means they like their own company and their own thoughts, and they can live with themselves, but they're diving very deep within themselves, you know?
They don't need to distract themselves constantly from themselves.
Hey, by the way, on the, do you know Teddy Roosevelt? He, that poet, something Robinson, that Teddy Roosevelt was obsessed with? It's always interesting. Like, David Lynch wouldn't have had a career if it wasn't for Mel Brooks.
Oh, that's right. You told me that.
It always takes someone with exquisite taste He pulled this guy out of obscurity. He was a drunk living in a tenement building in New York. He had no money. Oh, yeah. Edwin Arlington Robinson. You know this guy? He died in 1935.
Oh, yeah. E.A. Robinson.
Yeah, so there was a school teacher that was teaching Teddy Roosevelt's kid. And he was like, this guy, he's only sold like 2,000 copies of this thing, but it's out of print. But he's one of the best living poets. And Teddy Roosevelt's son fell in love with the book and read it over and over and loved it so much that he got his mom and his dad a copy of it for Christmas or for their birthday or anniversary or something. Teddy Roosevelt walks in the living room one day, sees his wife reading it, and he's like, what's that? And of course he's a voracious reader. So he immediately sits down and reads it, and then he reads it like every day for like 4 months. So much so that Teddy Roosevelt does like a manhunt to try to get this guy found. And it's like the classic like Faulkner thing, like not wanting to fly to give the speech about the Nobel or whatever. Like Teddy Roosevelt's like, I have to give you money. I have to give you a cabinet position or something so you can just keep writing poetry. And the guy was like, no, I'm good.
That's awesome,
I'm
dude.
drinking myself to death in New York and I'm starving. And so Teddy Roosevelt for like a year had to keep begging him. And eventually he gave him a fake job in Manhattan.
I love it.
Where he goes, I'm going to give you a desk and everything. Go in every day, leave a newspaper on the desk, pretend that you're doing something, but he was doing nothing. He was like working for the census or something. Teddy Roosevelt like literally salaried him, and it was like, good, just make sure you stay alive. Don't drink too much. Because this guy had a job where he would walk the tunnels underneath New York City in the dark with a stopwatch.
That's awesome.
And he would track the amount of time it would take to walk the tunnels as they were being built for the subways. So anytime you take the subway in New York, this guy, Edward Arlington Robinson, I read some of his poetry. It's pretty good. I'm not that familiar with him. But he's Teddy Roosevelt's favorite guy. But I'm like, thank God for people like, Mel Brooks. Thank God for people like Teddy Roosevelt. Like,
Teddy Roosevelt was awesome, man.
If it weren't for these great people, how many great people would they not be able to prop up as well, is kind of my point. But
see, that's what we need. We need a class of guys like Teddy Roosevelt and Mel Brooks to like come back and
those guys aren't
back and do some
those
stuff.
guys aren't in power anymore because they don't worship the death computer. They don't.
Oh man!
I mean, think about. Since you sent me this book, Wallace Stevens' collected poetry. I've been reading it, and thank you for it. You said,
obviously,
the Emperor of Ice Cream might be my favorite, besides the Auroras of Autumn, which I've been. There's a recording of him reading it that I've been listening to ad nauseum. But Wallace Stevens is interesting to me too because he said money is kind of like a poetry. And he kind of rejects this idea completely of being a starving artist, completely different from Edwin Arlington Robinson, where he became an insurance lawyer and he walked to work every day and he would compose his poetry in his head as he walked to work. And he told his coworkers he had a file and he goes, you see these are my poems on this side and this is my insurance papers. He goes, the two will never touch. And he liked having that perfectly kind of divided life he said he liked money, he liked having security, but also Wallace Stevens, maybe one of the greatest poets ever, maybe one of the greatest American poets at least.
He's my favorite American poet, and T.S. Eliot. Like those two guys for me are the guys. Stevens got liquored up at a party in Key West, Florida on vacation. And
he wrote poetry about Key West. That's interesting.
Yeah. So Hemingway's sister came into the party, and Wallace Stevens was hammered, and he started berating Hemingway's sister and like just being an asshole.
Wait, why? Why was he so mean?
He was drunk. He was drunk and insecure, and like Ernest Hemingway's like the biggest thing, right? And
supposedly Wallace Stevens would get irate with people if they found out he was a poet, and he would like deny it to people's faces and stuff. He hated anybody knowing he was an artist. He just wanted to be known as the insurance lawyer.
I love how idiosyncratic these guys are. Anyway, so Hemingway swung back by the party to pick up his sister. And she was in tears. And Hemingway's like, what's going on? And she's like, that man, here comes Wallace Stevens, his drunk ass comes down the steps.
He's huge, by the way. He's like 6'7". He's massive.
Massive. And so Hemingway's like, dude, what are you doing? And Wallace Stevens takes a swing at him.
What the fuck?
Right? Like, yeah. And Hemingway's like, whoa there, partner. Like, hey, hold on now. And, Hemingway could box. So he just like parried Stevens, like, what are you doing? And Stevens takes another swing at him. And Hemingway's like, I don't know who you are or what you think you're doing, but like, could you knock it out? And then like Stevens sucker punches Hemingway. And when he does, he breaks his hand on Hemingway's jaw. Literally shatters his hand on Hemingway's jaw. And then he starts crying. And Hemingway has to sit there with him while Stevens sobers up, right? And Stevens is panicking. He's like, oh my gosh, people are going to find out about this. Like, I'm vice president of Hartford Indemnity and Insurance back home. People will find out and I'll lose my job. And Hemingway's like, I'm not going to tell anybody. It's like, it's fine. Like, just, get your hands seen to, and, whatever, we're good. You just had one too many, and, it's all good. Well, by the time Wallace Stevens got back to Hartford, he told everyone that he got into a fight with Ernest Hemingway and kicked his ass.
Fuck, that's so funny.
Hilarious, dude.
I gotta go real quick because I gotta say goodnight to my kids.
Yeah.
Real quick, can you?
Of course.
When I play stuff on YouTube, can you hear it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Have you heard him speak?
Yeah. Stevens?
Yeah. I think these recordings from like is it Harvard or something that he
probably.
Can you hear that?
Only the half they can never possess remains. Still star.
I love when he says cold wind chills the beach, long lines of it grow longer.
The auroras of autumn.
He kind of has...
One. This is where the serpent lives.
This is, as Bloom says, but have you heard him speak? I was not because he's American. I'm like, he's fucking American, right?
Yeah, a lot of those guys kind of had this affected, almost British kind of thing. Oh, by the way,
because Bloom is that way too. What's up?
Yeah, they had this. It's the New England thing. Right? They had this very affected way of talking, and it was a class thing as well. Yeah, and Stevens spoke fluent German. His German was quite good.
Yes.
Weird. All right, dude. Go,
I've been learning German.
Say goodnight to your daughter. I bet you.
No, I've literally been learning German on Duolingo every night.
That's awesome.
You know the app Duolingo, right? I know you told me that German is kind of worthless to learn as a.
I didn't.
Well, you said for writing.
That wasn't me.
You said for writing it would be better to learn. Wait, what language did you tell me? I forget. You said there was one that was better that helps with
No, I would tell you that learning any foreign language is a superpower for a writer.
Maybe.
Really...
Well, I would like to know Italian so I could read Dante in the original.
That'd be amazing.
Well, I know Beckett and Joyce.
Medieval Italian.
Oh yeah, because they learned that. So, because didn't Beckett, because of Joyce, go to Italy and study and like learn how to speak that old Italian, that 14th century Italian, so they could just read Dante in the original.
Dante. Dude, when Joyce was a teenager, he taught himself to read Norwegian so he could read Ibsen in the original.
God damn.
Can you imagine teaching yourself to read Norwegian when you're like a kid living in Dublin?
I mean, the only person
early 1900s.
The only person I've heard of doing that is Harold Bloom said when he was 4, he taught himself English from reading, but no one even taught him. I guess he just stared at the page long enough until he could make sense of it.
That's crazy, man. What a brain these guys have, huh?